episode of Oregonlife.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregonlife.
Hello, I'm Frank Russo. Welcome to a brand new episode of Oregonlife. This is part one of a three-part series on cybersecurity with our cybersecurity expert, Andrew Drake. And we are thankful to produce this episode through the generous contributions of Torhorst Insurance. Torhorst Insurance is more than a sponsor of Oregonlife. Torhorst, like OCAmedia, has celebrated our community for over 45 years, fulfilling their insurance needs. Through their generous contributions, Torhorst Insurance has been a wonderful partner to OCAmedia, making it possible for us to produce episodes like Greenhaven Gardens, Keene Garlic, and highlighting the best of Oregon and surrounding areas. And that includes this episode of Cybersecurity with Andrew Drake.
Hi, I'm Andrew Drake. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I've worked in the industry through tech sales and data security for the last 10 years. Previously my roles have consisted of helping businesses protect data, protect themselves from a company perspective from things like ransomware, malware, data leakage, data loss. More recently, I've shifted to a new role where I'm actually working with companies to help them with trust intelligence and gaining trust with different businesses, gaining trust with consumers. So take like a retail organization wanting to make sure that consumers can trust that they're giving money and data to the company, that's a trustworthy transaction, and not just business to consumers, but also business to business. And obviously we're living in a new era where data is the new currency. So it's not just trading dollar for product, dollar for service. It's trading data for product, data for service, and data really truly is the new currency in the world that we're living in. And a lot of cyber criminals know that, and it really kind of poses a new risk to not just myself, not just to businesses, but to the vulnerable populations within our community. So we're talking about senior citizens. We're talking about our minors, children. My daughter is going into middle school and she has an iPhone, so we can have contact with her, but there's a lot of risks and dangers posed with her having that phone that she's exposed to. And then on the other side of the coin, you have a senior population that historically they grew up in an era where we didn't have this rampant technology and this massive digital transformation growth that we've seen in the last decade, or maybe couple decades, where some of that technology is a little bit foreign to them, and that creates a new risk for them to be able to manage and have to manage. And really, a lot of times that older population, they grew up being able to trust your neighbor, being able to trust the people around them, being able to trust, hey, I'm going to share my phone number with you, and I'm going to share my family makeup and history with you, and I'm going to share information about me because I trust that you're going to manage it. And unfortunately, that's just not the case anymore. That information really can be used against them and create dangerous situations. So when we talk about data and the data that those bad actors, those cyber criminals are going for, it's not just your name, it's not just your birthday, it's things like your social security card number, your driver's license number, your credit card numbers, your bank statements, your bank routing numbers. That's kind of the top line, the easy stuff, but it actually goes a little bit deeper too. I mean, they want to know all about you, right? They want to know, what do you like? What don't you like? What cultural influences do you have? What political party are you aligned with? They want to know all these things. And it's not just to simply go out and steal your data and steal your credit card so they can, go and, on a shopping spree at Walmart. Now it's become a lot worse than that. In cyber criminals, it's not simply, trying to go after your money. It's trying to influence you too. So, data has become much bigger than just social security card numbers, credit card numbers, and things that you would traditionally think of sensitive. A lot of that other data that we talk about is also sensitive as well and should be treated as such. All right, so when we talk about vulnerable populations and how they can be attacked from from cyber criminals that are out there. There's a small handful of different vectors that they can go through to try to attack you and get your data, get your money, give you to give them something of value. And historically, a lot of people know what the word phishing is. Phishing is generally an email that you get where it could say, hey, I'm a Nigerian prince from overseas and you have an inheritance, give me your bank number and I'll send it to you, right? That's kind of historically what phishing is. Those have become much more sophisticated where they're actually using things like AI, automated intelligence, to find out more about you, so they could know your family makeup and your family structure, and they could say, hey, I know you have a son who's overseas in the military, and hey, I'm going to pretend to be his boss saying, hey, I need bank information, right? So it's a lot more sophisticated than what it used to be. And we'll talk a little bit later on about how we can protect that data too. But phishing is kind of the first key area. It's evolved beyond just email and phishing. There's things called vishing with a V. That's voice phishing. Voice phishing is a phone call. It's those scam calls that you get where, hey, it could be, hey, I'm a police officer and so-and-so's been arrested, give me your credit card number and I can bail them out of jail, something like that. It could be, hey, it could be, I'm so-and-so with your bank, please give me your routing information or your password, I need to reset it. Those are vishing attacks or scams. The newest one is called smishing, SM phishing, so smishing, and that's SMS, which is text. So that's getting a text scam on your phone. I mean, if you're like me, you probably get tons of these texts that from unknown numbers, and a lot of times it's that 5-digit number, so it's not even a full phone number. And a lot of times those can go untraceable, so you don't really know who those are coming from. Really, I wish we had laws that would just ban all of that, but that's not the case. We're not there yet, so you still have to see that. Just ignore those. A lot of times, I mean, unless you know who it's from, it's probably a scam. It's probably, you can be skeptical about it. So just a few thoughts on that, and really how all, whether it's phishing, vishing, smishing, or any other type of scam, just be super skeptical. Think that everything is a scam, right? If you go into every piece of communication that this is likely a scam, that's a great way to start, right? Just delete it. A lot of times they're going to create a sense of urgency of like, hey, you have to do something now. Like on the phone call, you have to do something now or your nephew's going to jail. Well, that's not the case. That's not how the real world works. You do have time. And that goes into the second point of validate everything, right? So go in and if it's your bank, go call your bank and say, hey, are you guys trying to get a hold of me? Make it, instead of it being a one-way communication of someone coming to you and needing something from you, make it a two-way thing. Don't talk to that person. Go call your bank. Go call a trusted source. Go call your nephew. Go call, a family member to validate it. If it is just a one-way communication, go ask someone. Go ask a trusted person. Go to the police department. Ask an officer. You can go to the authorities and say, hey, this doesn't feel right. Is this right? Someone's going to help you and kind of guide you through. Is this real? Is it fake? If I can give a quick example, so I had the fortunate ability to be on Wheel of Fortune earlier this year, and we did an episode with Oregonlife previously about it. When I got that email, super skeptical. It came from Sony.hpe.com. It was an email that said, hey, you're going to be on Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, meh, seems fake. And then I got a phone call about it. And I didn't even accept the phone call, which, by the way, that's another good practice. You don't have to answer every call if you don't know the number. Let it go to voicemail. A lot of times they won't even leave a voicemail if it's a scam. But in my case, they did leave a voicemail, and it was so-and-so from Sony Pictures, and she said, hey, I sent you an email. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe this is legitimate. And I went through, I did my research, I looked at the email, I was real skeptical about, hey, is this truly from Sony? I did some research, how do they communicate with potential people? And I said, okay, now I'm building trust and building confidence that this is a real thing. And then I got excited and of course went on the show. But that's how you have to kind of approach every piece of communication that's coming at you. So just be real skeptical about what you're seeing and what you're doing. It's not time sensitive. Nothing is ever that time sensitive that you can't validate that the communication that you're receiving is accurate. And three, ask for help. Yeah, there's always resources out there that are willing to make sure, to kind of validate that the transaction that you're about to engage in is a legitimate transaction. Coming up in part 2, more cybersecurity tips.
Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregon Life.